Dudley. I teach philosophy at Williams, and Tom Garrity asked me to speak for a minute or two about some of the strategies I use for teaching writing. And like most of the good ideas I have, I borrowed them from other people. In this case, mostly from Dan O'Connor and Alan White. And they, in the years they taught philosophy at Williams, grew frustrated with what they perceived to be the lack of progress in writing in their intro students. So they decided to experiment with some different kinds of assignments, and instead of assigning a 5-page paper every couple of weeks, which they had traditionally done, instead they started assigning much shorter papers, 1-page papers, for every single class. And they were so pleased with the results, so excited about them, that a number of us in the philosophy department decided to try the same thing. Not everybody does it this way, but some of us do. And what we've all found is that the nature of this assignment, namely a very short assignment with a very strict word limit, no more than 300 words, which the students write 3 times a week, has some really terrific impacts. It trains the students to write clearly and concisely, because otherwise they can't possibly say everything that needs to be said. And you find out at the beginning of the semester that most of them can't in fact say everything that needs to be said in 300 words. They're either their essays are much too long and they turn in an essay that's 500 words instead of 300 words, and you have to tell them no, 300 words is really the limit. Or they write 300 words but they don't say, they don't answer all of the aspects of the question. And so the nice thing though is that because they get so much practice, because they do this 3 times a week, eventually they get the hang of it. Some of them get the hang of it quickly, but almost all of them get the hang of it by the end of the semester. And by the end, they're writing much more effectively than they did at the beginning. And that was the goal, and that was what we find so satisfying about this form of assignment. An added bonus is that the class discussions are also much better, because in every single class, the students have come not only having scanned their eyes over the material, but having had to read it carefully enough that they can actually write on it. So they're all actively prepared to participate in the discussion, and that is a terrific side benefit. I've tweaked Alan and Dan's system in a number of ways over the years. For one thing, I don't assign these papers every single day for every single student as they originally did. I found that was too much grading for me, and it was too much writing for the students. So what I do now is I divide the class into 3 groups. So these are writing intensive courses with 19 students. So the groups have 6 or 7 students each, and on any given day, one group is assigned to write a graded 1-page paper, which I will comment and grade on. I comment on both the grammar and the word choice, as well as the philosophical substance. And the second group is assigned to write a pass-fail paper on the same question, which will be read and commented upon by a TA. And the third group has the day off in terms of writing. They still have to do the reading, but they don't have to write. So each individual student over the course of the week writes 2 essays, 1 graded and 1 pass-fail. Before every class period, I have 6 or 7 essays on which I need to comment and grade, and I found that that's a reasonable load for me, and it's a reasonable load for the students. They get enough practice without being overwhelmed, and I'm able to offer them a detailed commentary on their work. Also, I've added at the end of the semester a slightly longer paper. I will ask them to write a 3 to 5-page paper. So instead of 300 words, maybe 1,000 to 1,500 words. And the students usually appreciate that, because by the end of the semester, they're beginning to find the very short format constraining, and they like the opportunity to explore their ideas at greater length. And I find that valuable for them. I use a modified form of this general strategy in my upper level courses now too. So on any given day, I'll have 2 or 3 or 4 students who are called ringleaders, and their job is to write a 1 to 2 page essay. In these courses, upper level courses, I don't assign the question. I ask them to select their own thesis, and in addition to writing the essay, I assign them the task of identifying several questions that they think it's important for the class to discuss. So again, class discussion is enhanced while at the same time they get practice at writing frequently and concisely and carefully and clearly. And over the course of the semester, I ask them to build longer pieces of written work out of the short pieces that they've done at the beginning. So when they write a 1 or 2 page ringleader exercise, they can then grow that into a 5-page paper, and at the end of the semester they can grow a 5-page paper into a 10 or 12-page paper. And I find that this is really the key to the improvement in their writing. They get frequent practice. They have to abide by very strict word limits, which makes them think very carefully about the choices that they have to make, and they gradually expand the length of their work, and in doing so are also revising work that they've done before. And I think I've found anyway that when I combine those three things, frequency, word limits, and revision, their writing improves in a very satisfying way, and they think so too. It's not rocket science, but I'm a philosopher.